Order.
Thank you.
Secretary General, you will be aware of the discussion in Britain around the British government considering withdrawing from the European Convention on Human Rights. You will also be aware that the Good Friday Agreement, which brought an end to conflict in Ireland, is underpinned by the European Convention on Human Rights. What can the European Commission, the European Council of Europe, do to ensure that the ongoing protection of human rights, particularly for people in the north of Ireland, in the event that the British government withdraw, and also particularly in the likelihood in coming years that the people of Ireland, both north and south, will vote to end partition and reunite our country?
Thank you. Elvira Kovacs is next.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Secretary General, when will the Council of Europe propose the modernization of the European Charter for regional or minority languages, as well as the modernization of the Framework Convention for the Protection of National Minorities? We all know that today we are living in a world of a digital world and artificial intelligence, etc. So I believe that there are many more reasons to modernize these documents because, unfortunately, they are outdated. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvira. Dear Secretary General, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will start with the question about the EPC and the Council of Europe. And as we all know, I mean, the EPC is a recent institution, if I can say it so, created in 2022, just after the full-scale invasion from Russia in the Ukraine. And it was, I think, the goal to have a very informal network, framework for head of state and head of governments to meet. The Council of Europe is regularly invited, and as we know, the geographical scope of the EPC is exactly the same as the geographical scope of the Council of Europe. The difference is that we have on one side a very informal gathering of head of state, head of government, and it is informal and it should remain informal. And on the other side, we have an organization with a very long standing history, anchored in all history of the continent since the post-World War II, and with a lot of elements that we developed in the meantime. I mean, the main element of the very beginning was the European Convention on Human Rights, and then the court, and then different conventions addressing issues at the time where they appeared recently. For example, the AI Convention, the first treaty legally binding on artificial intelligence, protecting rule of law, democracy, and human rights in this context, open to the world. I mean, it is developing a lot. That means we have the same geographical scope, but different roles, I would say. And I can remember, and it was also my goal, to see what can we do to have a convergence between the two organizations. We are working on this. I know that you have a rapporteur, I think, from PACE, Scholt Nemet, who presented also a report on this. To be honest and transparent, really transparent, it is much more difficult as I was thinking at the very beginning. Because there is, I mean, nobody is really enthusiastic supporting the EPC, seeing that the Council of Europe could come and do something there. And I think the best avenue to have some more collaboration is to work on the substance. And I can speak again about this element that I mentioned before about the possible convention fighting disinformation and foreign interference. I mean, the very start of this was discussed in the context of the EPC, but the EPC is not, it's not too critical, it's not able to deliver on this because it is not an organization with all the elements, expertise, experience to develop something concrete, a tool to make it real. And it is there where we can deliver. I mean, we can also work on this kind of collaboration. About the second element, thank you for the question about the European Convention on Human Rights and the discussion that it exists, and I'm aware about this discussion in UK about the possible withdrawal from the convention, and it means from the Council of Europe. We must be clear. I mean, there is no possibility to participate to the Council of Europe not accepting and not committing to the European Convention on human rights. Two things on this. Maybe politically, first of all, we can remember that we had in the recent times some discussions with member states about migration issues in the context of the convention and the court. We have this well-known letter of the 9. We have a development on this with more countries addressing the issue. And I can just recall what I said since earlier this year. I mean, it must be possible in the context of the Council of Europe to address all issues at the political level. It is important that we have the possibility transparently to speak on everything, but to politicize the court is not the right way to do this. Not only not the right way, but it is dangerous. Why? We are advocating, and I think our governments in member states are all advocating for the independence of the judiciary. We develop some projects in our action plan in countries to make sure that it is real and to improve this independence. It is not possible to do exactly the opposite at the Council of Europe. That means we should address the issue, but at the right place, and I will have probably the possibility the next EPC end of this week to address this because it will be on the table. The second element about the withdrawal, I mean, the withdrawal from the ECHR would be, to be honest, really complicated. I don't have any idea how it would be possible to make this happen. I mean, politically, legally, and I think the ECHR is part of a solution for Northern Irish peace process. It is part of the UK cooperation with the EU also. I mean, it is also an important part of the framework for how do we work together. I mean, for UK. And I mean, it would be a very, not only a bad signal, but it would be a factor of a risk of isolation, I mean, for the country. Saying this, I think it would be much better to address the issues, to discuss on everything at the right place and to see what we can do, what do we see as the problems, and not to take the Council of Europe and the Convention and the Court as a scapegoat for the whole discussion that can exist in different national discussions. That seems to me really important, and we are really open to do this. Last point about UK, I had in New York a very good meeting exactly on those elements with the Lord Chancellor, Lamy. It was really interesting discussion, and it is an ongoing discussion. Here, like in other situations, we must continue to work together and to see how we can find an alignment in interest of all actors.